International Roller Skating League presents Major League Bank Track Skating Competition from Kezar Pavilion in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Today, it's the Manhattan Chiefs versus the Bay Bombers. Hello, I'm Don Drury. Along with me, calling your play-by-play action is Ken Motti. We're joining this game here in the first skating period with the score tied 1-1. 8 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in this first period. The women are on the track and the jam is already in progress, so we'll pick up the action. Rita Williams moving out, number 44 for the Chiefs. Number 35 is Judy McGuire for the Bay Bombers. Sandy Dunn is back on defense for the Chiefs. McGuire, a sidestep and scores. Bay Bombers pick up another point. 1 Bay Bomber point scored. That makes the score 2 for the Bombers and 1 for the Chiefs. Again, I expect this to be a very fast and rough series. It's been powerful already with the Chiefs, and of course they're in first place. Bombers struggling from third, trying to get back up. Back being reorganized. 7 minutes, 30 seconds left to go here in the first skating period. Back being reorganized. Pivot skaters must go to the front. Blockers must be in the middle. Jammers at the rear. They'll be dropping in as they move around. The Chiefs in the gold uniforms. The women, the men in the dark green reversal set. And the Bombers in their brown and orange. You're watching in black and white. The Chiefs are in the light colored jerseys and the Bombers in the dark. Back is formed. Bomber Jammer tries to work her way up. Jammer coming up. Her on the outside. It is Debbie Joe starting that play for the Chiefs. Rita Williams coming out also. Number 44. Bombers have 31. Terry Lewis on the move, and they have Terry and Abbott, I believe, coming up. She's hit back, taken down. Both of the Bomber Jammers have been dumped. The Chiefs move along by themselves. Bombers without a jammer out, moving on the play, trying to bring somebody out. Thus far, unsuccessful. It is Dolores Tucker dropping back on defense for the Bay Bombers at the rear. The offensive jammers now move into scoring position. Jammers trying to close on the rear. Joe leading the way up. Weston trying to get somebody out of there. Here come your jammers into scoring position at the rear. Double block set up there by Terry Lewis and Joni Weston. Dunn dropping back on the assist. She's the women's captain of the Chiefs. 2 scorers in scoring contention. Dunn comes up, takedown. Chiefs going up over the top and through the middle. They have scored. There were a total of 4 Chief points picked up on the play. So the score right now, 5 for the Chiefs, 2 for the Bay Bombers, and a timeout called here on the track. Don Drury back calling the action. We're in the first skating period. This game coming your way from Kezar Pavilion. The Chiefs lead 5-2 over the Bay Bombers. 5 minutes, 16 seconds left to go here in the first period. The pack is formed. The whistle sounds. The offensive jammers make their way from the rear. Jammer coming up and out. It is number 31, Terry Lewis on the move for the Bay Bombers. For the Chiefs, 46, Jackie Garillo on the move. Garillo coming up. There's an elbow block thrown in. Takes over the lead on this jam. 1-1 on the play. Bombers having that jammer coming up to the inside. Up on the block. Regains the lead. Garillo quickly challenging back up there for the Chiefs. Back to the inside. Each team again, that one jammer out and moving. Jammers wear the striped helmets. Once they get in front of the pack, after starting from the rear, they have 60 seconds to lap the field. For each opposing skater lapped and passed, they receive 1 point. Sandy Dunn, women's captain for the Chiefs, back on defense. Joni Weston back there for the Bay Bombers. Garillo trying to go to the outside. Belted back by Weston. Lewis moves forward. There's Weston. Good elbow block into Jackie Garillo. Prevents her from scoring. Coming out of the Chief turn down a straightaway. Garillo moves forward again. Dunn keeping her eye on the Bay Bomber jammer back there as well. Offensive jammer coming up to the outside. Elbow block again. Weston rides Garillo high. Up in that turn. Dunn back with a block. The Bomber jammer has been stopped. And time in the jam starts to run out. No score on the play. The score remains. The Chiefs 5 and the Bay Bombers with 2. 4 minutes remaining here in the first skating period. There's a shot of Joan Weston, the women's captain of the Bay Bombers, talking with Dolores Tucker up on the rail as they try and reorganize the pack. Weston, of course, a many seasoned veteran. She's been on the all-star team. I can't count the amount of times. I've got Ken Councilman with me doing the color for this game, coming your way from, again, Kezar Pavilion.
Don, this is going to be a big game for the Bay Bombers. The Manhattan Chiefs, of course, #1 in the league right now. And the Bombers would very much like to change that around.
Bombers down in 3rd place, following behind the Midwest Pioneers.
That's right. The Pioneers earlier today had a tough game and a tough loss. So the Pioneers are in a battling position, too, and the Chiefs, the team that everybody's got to take the shot at.
Jam has started. Jammers out, moving on the play. Carol Peanuts-Meyer, 37, moving for the Bay Bombers, along with number 35, Judy McGuire. Chiefs have 44. Rita Williams out, 45, Debbie Cho. 1-1 on the play, or 2 Jammers, rather, out and moving on the play for each team. Bomber Jammers have been hit back. Meyer and McGuire both moving up again. There's a double block being formed. Meyer moves up, tries the middle. Hit back, stopped again. Chiefs trying to maintain control on this jam as they move their way into scoring position at the rear. McGuire and Meyer hit back a little ways, trying to close up. Peanuts-Meyer takes another whip from Judy McGuire. Skater hit, put down, the jam called off. There were 2 more Chief points scored on the play. There was also 1 Bay Bomber point picked up by Peanuts-Meyer. That'll make the score now. The Chiefs with 7, the Bay Bombers 3.
Don, a tough break for the Bombers on that play. There's Joan Weston on the rail right now trying to figure out what she's got to do to get the Bombers back into this game. Their top jamming duo, Meyer and McGuire, and that 1 Bomber point was almost scored by accident. Sandy Dunn not up in time. The Chiefs really turned that play to their advantage.
2 minutes remaining here in the first period. Bombers very cautious and very injury conscious right now. They've had skaters on and off throughout most of this season thus far, and I think that's one of the reasons that they're down in 3rd place, because the team overall, Ken, is a powerful team.
That's right. If they could just get everybody in top form at the same time, they could really make a run at it.
1 minute, 40 seconds left to go. Back reorganized. Whistle sounds. Jammers coming up. The play is started. Chiefs get the first jammer out moving. Number 37, Carol Peanuts-Meyer, coming out of the Bay Bombers. High elbow block up by Peanuts-Meyer. Gorillo coming up. Elbow block. McGuire and Meyer. 2nd jam in a row. Out and moving. Chiefs have fresh blood out there. They have Gorillo and they have Kathy Ramos on the move. This time, however, it's the Bomber Jammers up on top. Meyer and McGuire slowing down. They form a double block, trying to eliminate Chief Jammers. Back coming up now, and the Chief Jammers get through the middle of that double block. Take over the lead. Dunn again, waving them up. Meyer coming up, in with a block, puts down both of the Chief Jammers. Now Meyer and McGuire moving on the rear. Skaters hit, taken down, and Bomber Jammers go through. Jam called off. There were 2 Bay Bomber points picked up, 1 by Meyer, 1 by McGuire. That'll close the gap here in the score, making it the Chiefs 7, the Bay Bombers 5. 44 seconds left to go here in the first period. Yeah, and I think we're going to take a... Here we are again, an instant replay.
Okay, a block on the inside. A clean block by Peanuts-Meyer lifts them both by Judy McGuire. Following through now, Meyer still leading the way. Now here's Sandy Dunn, tried to go back and do the same thing she did on the last jam. The Bombers were ready for it. They took advantage of it, and the Bombers turn it back around.
We're back live now as the action is happening here in the building early in the first period. 15 seconds remaining in the period, and that's the way it's going to go out. We're up here in the second skating period. The score at the end of the first period. The Chiefs 7, the Bay Bombers 5. Men just coming onto the track now for the start of the second skating period. Both teams are at full strength. This game again coming your way from Kezar Pavilion. I'm Don Drury, along with me calling your play-by-play action, Ken Kunzelman. And there is the lineup for the Bay Bombers. Number 32, Mike Chump. 33, Alvin Mallory. 34, James Paul. 35, Mike Gammon. 36, Cliff Butler. 38, the men's captain, Bill Grohl. Ron Turbin, and of course the coach, Charlie O'Connell, is number 40. Jammers are out and moving on the play. Cliff Butler with a jammer summon on, comes down, elbow block into Johnny Rice, takes over the lead on the play. 1-1 on the move, cross-arm block, up by Rice, back to the inside of shoulder block. Butler hit back now. Butler driving, coming up out of that turn, shoulder block, Rice hit, put down. Good solid block in there by Cliff Butler. Rice is up and moving again. However, he's a little ways back. Jerry Cattell and Bill Grohl back on defense for the respective teams. Grohl moves yet. Butler signaled back by Grohl. Rice goes forward. Grohl comes in with a block, rides him back. Cattell pounding back there on Butler as he attempts to score. Butler looking over his shoulder. Grohl sets up Rice as a jump block by Butler. Hits him into the rail. Now Grohl digging in to lead away. Cattell back to the blocking. Cliff Butler moving in a scoring position. He's got Grohl to lead away. Grohl with a drive to the inside. There's a leg block. Butler inside. He scores. No, the officials ruling time running out. No score on the play. That was close. It looked like he scored to me. But time ran out. No score.
Don, a matter of half a second or less, but teamwork for the Bombers, although they didn't get the point out of it, really showed itself there. Cliff Butler, Bill Grohl leading the way, but Butler Butler came back and got his own jammer out. Got his own opposing jammer out. He was very much a key part of that play.
Here are the lineups for the Manhattan Chiefs. Number 42, Mike Phillips. 46, Alan Littles. 47, Jerry Cattell. There are two 47s. Johnny Rice. Alfonso Reyes is 45. Buddy Atkinson is 49. And Ronnie Nelson fills out that lineup. Cameras are out. And moving on the play. Alan Littles, 46 for the Chiefs. Moving with number 35, Dynamite Mike Gammon. Gammon coming up out of the turn. Up on the block. Jump block. Misses. Almost connecting into the chest of Alan Littles, but a quick sidestep on the play, and now Gammon is in pursuit. Gammon's moving along. Littles sets the pace. Gammon comes in low, takes him out. Gammon on the move. Atkinson back on defense for the Chiefs at the rear. Gammon moving into scoring position. Atkinson back with a leg block. Stops Gammon from the inside. Roll dropping back. Gammon on the block. Puts down Alan Littles. Billy Grohl back to lead the way. Atkinson at the rear. Gammon takes a whip, moves to the outside. Slowed down. A leg block back by Atkinson. Hits him high up into the shoulder area. Stops him from scoring. Littles moves in again. Grohl with a block. Dumping Littles once again. Grohl looking to assist. O'Connell trying to tie him up. O'Connell coming up with a whip. Gammon moves to the outside. Back to the inside. And the officials again ruling there was no score on the play. Apparently time running out before Gammon got through. It's really close here, and these Chiefs are holding up with great defense.
I'll tell you, Don, the clock has really been against the Bombers in this period. That's another play. Mike Gammon just super fantastic year after year. There he is getting back on the track right now. Really should have had that point.
There he is, number 35, Mike Gammon, talking with Charlie O'Connell. And O'Connell seems to be a little bit upset out there. 8 minutes, 20 seconds remaining here in the second period. Chiefs continue to lead by 2, 7-5 over the Bay Bombers. Eight minutes, 5 seconds left to go as they quickly try to reorganize the pack. Early here in the game. Chiefs remaining on top. Biggest team in the league. First place team. Again, we point out there are 7 minutes and 50 seconds left to go here in this period. 36, Cliff Butler out and moving on the jam for the Bay Bombers. Johnny Rice coming out for the Chiefs, and Butler backs off as Rice attempts to throw a block. Clubs in. Good solid shoulder block. Puts him down. Bay Bombers now the only jammer out moving. Number 36, Cliff Butler. Butler moving on the rear. Johnny Rice has been dumped behind the pack. He cannot score and caught in a position he's going to have to defend for the Chiefs at the rear. Bombers looking to get somebody back there to assist. Butler moving in. Atkinson dropping back on defense now. That's a big man back there. Atkinson coming in about 250 pounds. Elbow block to the outside. Butler moves forward. Atkinson rides him high again, pounds in with the elbow block. Butler staggered to the outside. Bombers trying to get somebody back to try and help out. Thus far, unable to do it. The Chiefs keeping him forward. Atkinson sets him up. Rice comes back in the wrong direction. There is a penalty call on Johnny Rice, blocking in the wrong direction. 1 Bay Bomber point being awarded to Cliff Butler on that penalty. So the score is now the Chiefs 7, the Bay Bombers 6. 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to go here in the second skating period, with a timeout being called on the track. The Bay Bombers return to Sacramento for their final appearance of the 1978 league season in Sacramento to battle the first-place Chiefs. It will be the only appearance of the Chiefs in Sacramento during the 1978 league season. The Chiefs, with the biggest lineup in the league, led by Coach Buddy Atkinson Jr., Alfonso Reyes, Jerry Cattell, Johnny Rice, and the spirited women's captain, Sandy Dunn. They take on our Bay Bombers Saturday night, August the 19th at 8 p.m. at the Sacramento Memorial Auditorium. All seats are reserved. Kids half price. On sale now at all community center box office outlets. Don Drury, King Councilman, back calling the action from Kezar Pavilion. The Chiefs lead over the Bay Bombers here in the second period with 6 minutes remaining, 7-6. Cameras are up and out. 31, Ron Turbin on the move for the Bay Bombers. 42, Mike Phillips out moving for the Chiefs. 1-1 on the play. Cameras moving, and Phillips is put into the rail. Bombers now the only jammer out. They need it, down by 1. Chiefs unable to break a secondary jammer out. Littles is being kept in at the front of the pack. And Atkinson drops back on defense at the rear. Here comes the jammer moving in. Atkinson dumps Turbin to the outside. Comes in with a good solid block. Grohl dropping back on the assist for Ronnie Turbin now. Grohl coming up. There's a block to the inside. Doesn't take to Atkinson. Turbin moves to the outside. Belted back again. Littles moves forward. Hit back by Grohl. Both of these jammers can score at the same time. Littles takes over the lead on the jam, but it's belted back. Atkinson stops Turbin again. Jammers trying to fight their way through. Littles almost put over the rail. Here comes Grohl with a drive, trying to move Atkinson out of the way. Turbin inside. He scores! And the official decision, there were 2 Bay Bomber points picked up by number 31, Ronnie Turbin. That puts the Bombers into the lead by 1, 8-7 over the Chiefs. And Ken, let's take a look at it again.
Okay, Don, here's the critical role Bill Grohl plays in this whole thing right here. Now, Grohl weighs a lot less than Bud Atkinson Jr., but watch when he makes his move. He can move Atkinson, and he makes the opening here. Now, Atkinson blocking, has the Bomber jammer tied up. Now, we've got the Chief jammer out of the way. Now we can make our move, and there it is. Ronnie Turbin quickly moving in. But Bill Grohl lifted for the point. Now we're back to live action, Don.
We're back with the action. Anderson's happening live. There's a shot of Ronnie Turbin, the man who just scored for the Bombers to put the Bombers into the lead, 8-7. Jammers are out and moving on the play. Mike Jump on the move for the Bay Bombers. For the Chiefs, out moving is Ron Nelson, and his blocking going on. Up there, Grohl comes in with a block to Johnny Rice. Skater hit, taken down. Jump, trying to find his way through. His check to the infield. Must drop back. Moves forward, and Rice trying to run him into that rail. Nelson missing the block now. Mallory caught back, spinning to the inside. Skaters piling up, going down. Tremendous effort back there by both of those jammers. However, the official decision, there were 2 Chief points scored. 2 Chief points picked up by Ron Nelson. Atkinson defending against Mike Jump. And he was pinned up to the rail as well, Ken. 9-8. The Chiefs go on top.
Buddy Atkinson, a big man to go down in there, and an awful pile-up in that turn. But the Bombers, Mike Chump, a youngster in a very critical situation there, and the pressure was certainly on him.
3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining here in the second skating period. Back being reorganized. Pivot skaters move to the front. Blockers into the middle. Jammers must be at the rear. At the rear, trying to work their way up. There's a shot of this tremendous crowd out here at Kezar Pavilion. Again, in support of this Bay Bomber Club. They've been here all season, thousands of them showing up every week. And, of course, throughout other places that the Bombers play, Oakland Auditorium, San Jose, and Sacramento. Always great turnouts. Jammers on the move. 34 is James Paul for the Bay Bombers. It is Alfonso Reyes on the move for the Chiefs. 1-1 on the play. Reyes not making a move for the lead. Atkinson back on defense. Ball belted back by Atkinson. High elbow blocks thrown in there. Atkinson hammering in again. Hammer coming up, trying to score. Moving up to the outside is hit back. And the jam called off. The official decision, there was 1 Bay Bomber point score. That ties it, 9-9. 2 minutes remaining here in the second period. There's the guy that scored it, number 34, James Paul.
Don, a big story in there. Alvin Mallory keeping Alfonso Reyes tied up. Reyes was so busy and so worried about Mallory that he did not pay any attention to what was happening behind him. And inattentiveness allowed the Bombers to pick up the point there.
Score tied, 9-9. A minute, 40 seconds left to go. Both teams quickly trying to reorganize that back. The pivot skaters must be at the front, the blockers in the middle, and the jammers, of course, at the rear. We'd like to point out that announcers for this telecast are the employees of the International Roller Skating League and are in no way affiliated with the station on which you are watching this program. Jammers are up and out. 47, Johnny Rice going for the Chiefs. Number 36, Cliff Butler out there for the Bay Bombers. Butler coming up. Good solid elbow block. Rice hit back, slowed down, and totally backs off. Doesn't even continue to move on a jam. That's a terrible thing for a jammer to do, because with the score tied, they have no way of scoring without having a man out there, and he just backs off from Butler.
That's right. Second effort can make the difference. You got to go back out and try again.
Rice has been sent back to do the blocking. Secondary jammers are out, but Nelson is out number 2-1 as Butler attempts to score for the Bombers. And Butler digging in down that straightaway. Rice trying to stay with him. Coming up out of the turn. Gator, Cattell coming back. Butler squatting low underneath. Wipes out his own man. Butler going to the outside. Moves to Atkinson. Hit. Foot down. The jam called off. There were four Bay Bomber points scored by Cliff Butler.
A key play for the Bombers right there. And as you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the play, the Chiefs did not come back with a second effort. 15 seconds remaining in the period, and the Bombers have got the lead by 4.
13-9. The Bay Bombers on top over the Chiefs. There's Cliff Butler with 5 seconds left to go. Let's take a look at it again.
Okay, here we go. Cliff Butler running down the track. He's got to outrun his man right now. He ducks under Jerry Cattell, trying to throw a jump block there, and Butler just a half a second quicker. Makes his move on the outside. He goes for the additional points, and he gets all but Atkinson. And we're back to the end of the period now.
We're back live, and the score at the end of the period. The Bombers 13, the Chiefs 9 with a timeout. Don Drury, Ken Gonzelman back calling the action here from Kezar Pavilion. We're in the third skating period. The women taking the track, and it's just getting underway. With a score, the Bombers 13 and the Chiefs 9. Chiefs have 2 jammers out, moving on the play. 46 is Jackie Garillo, followed by number 42, Kathy Ramos. Bombers unable to break a jammer out. And all 5 of the Bay Bombers being kept in. Chief jammers pacing their way to the rear. Sandy Dunn in control at the front of that pack. Joni Weston already dropping back on defense at the rear along with Dolores Tucker. Chief jammers coming up. Here comes Garillo moving down the straightaway. She'll be the first one to challenge in. Jammer comes up, double block. Hit back, slowed down, stopped. Ramos coming up now. Double block formed again. Dunn dropping back on the assist. Dunn back to lead the way, moves up, double block, trying to open the door. Chief jammers trying to move their way through, go to the outside, hit back into Dunn. And 3 skaters piled up, going down. No score on the play. Time running out. Ryan attempting to score for the Bay Bombers. And was caught with a block just as time ran out by Sandy Dunn. She almost got by.
Don, the Bombers played it strictly on defense that time. They're sitting on a 4-point lead. Joan Weston, Dolores Tucker kept it in the pack at the rear. The Chiefs tried to counter with a very complicated play, and it just did not work out. Timing is everything, and the Chiefs didn't have it there.
There's Wilma Ryan, 36, rookie picked up this season. And the pack being reorganized. Bombers, however, continue to lead by 4, 13-9. We'd like to point out that the telecast that you are watching is produced strictly for the enjoyment of our viewing audience, and any other use or reproduction of this telecast without the express written permission of the International Roller Skating League is strictly prohibited. If you'd like information on the Bay Bombers, you may write to any of your favorite skaters or Bay Bombers, care of the San Francisco Bay Bombers, P.O. Box 7979, San Francisco, California, 94120. That's Bay Bombers, P.O. Box 7979, San Francisco, California. Jammers are out, moving on the play. Rita Williams on the move for the Chiefs. Number 37, Phoenix Meyer for the Bay Bombers. 1-1 on the move. Williams coming up, regains the lead for the Chiefs. Phoenix Meyer moving up there for the Bay Bombers, trying to close in. Williams squats low. Dunn comes over the block, takes out Phoenix Meyer. Joni Weston back into the blocking, leg block to the inside. Bombers being put up into the rail. Chiefs trying to lead their way through, trying to close that scoring gap. Williams trying to get through on the inside. The jam called off. And the official decision, there were four Chief points scored. Rita Williams picking up those points. Again, I think we're going to take a look at this again. 8 minutes, 15 seconds left to go here in the third period with the score tied 13-13.
Okay, Don, here we are. This is a big scoring play for the Chiefs right here. Sandy Dunn putting her team back into the game. They were trailing by 4, blocking in the pack, setting points up. Dunn leading the way, Williams following right behind her. Going to the inside. Dunn coming back in to take McGuire out at the end. And a 4-point play ties it up.
Score tied, 13-13. 7 minutes, 45 seconds left to go. And there's Sandy Dunn. She picked up a penalty blocking after the jam on that play. So the Chiefs are going to be shorthanded now. They will field only 4 skaters. 7 minutes, 30 seconds left to go, and Dunn jumping back out of the track is warned to get off of the track and move into the penalty box. Time will not start to run until she does go in there. Joni Weston trying to reorganize that team right now, trying to get those skaters back up into scoring position. Back is formed. Whistle sounding. Jammers trying to work their way up and out. Bay Bombers looking to get the first jammer out. Terry Williams, or Lewis rather, with a whip, and it's number 34, Dolores Tucker, on the move for the Bombers. 42, Ramos is in pursuit. Weston in control of the front of that pack. Tucker making her way around. Jammer trying to close on her, and there's a skater being worked on. Joni Weston being hit by Debbie Cho. Bomber Jammer Tucker now moving into scoring position. Weston hit back, and Tucker trying to go through. Is checked to the infield. The jam is still going, I believe. Tucker must drop back, and back to the inside. The jam is over. There's going to be a penalty call out there. There was a penalty, I believe, on Joan Weston for holding. A penalty, I believe, on Joan Weston for holding. 6 minutes, 14 seconds remaining here in the third period. And a discussion going down there with the officials right now. There's Joan Weston. Skater shaken up is down. Held back up. 14-13 for the Chiefs. They're on top, and a timeout being called on the track. Don Drury, Kate Councilman back calling your action here at Kezar Pavilion. The Chiefs lead by 1, 14-13 over the Bay Bombers. 5 minutes left to go here in the third skating period. Women are on the track, and there's a battle going on in the jam. Rita Williams for the Chiefs, Peanuts Meyer for the Bay Bombers. Bombers are short-handed with Joan Weston in the penalty box. Picking up a penalty on the last confrontation. Hammer moving up to the inside. An elbow block. Thrown back by Williams. It will be Sandy Dunn back on defense for the Chiefs at the rear. Rita Williams coming in. Meyer also squatting low as Williams went underneath. The jam called off. And the Bombers have picked up one more point on the play, tying it up 14-14. The jam is over. Williams trying to move through. Dunn trying to let her go through, Ken, and Meyer stayed right with her.
Well, Don, that's where the years that you've got behind you can pay off. Now, Rita Williams has been around about 10, 11 years, but Peanuts Meyer has been skating since 1959. She's been with the Bombers for most of that time. She knows how to make the moves.
There's a shot of Rita Williams. She just picked up a penalty blocking after the jam. However, the score is tied, 14-14. Again, you know, the Bombers in this series with the Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs are in first place, and they've got a very rough schedule to come up. The Bombers will be playing home next Saturday night. Back out at Powell Stadium, outdoor game. Then they come into Oakland, indoors, to the Oakland Auditorium against this Chief team. And the way it's going right now, the Bombers haven't won a game this season against the Chiefs. It looks like they just may stay in first place. And, of course, for the Bomber fans in San Francisco, it'll be approximately another 4 weeks before they return to Kezar Pavilion back here in San Francisco. Jam has been started by the offensive jammers. The pivot skaters are now eligible to go out and move on this jam. Weston is out along with Debbie Cho. Weston unwinds an elbow block. Belts back in with another one. Leg block back by Weston. Hits in. Shoulder block, and Cho put down solid. The Bombers now the only scoring threat out moving. Sandy Dunn dropping back on defense for the Chiefs. Weston makes a move to the outside. Belted back by Dunn. Dunn hits him with another high elbow block. A shoulder block out of the Bomber turn. Down the straightaway. Dunn again riding Joni Weston high. Weston looking for assistance. Nobody able to drop back there and help her out. Cho comes back with a block now. Alternating the blocks with Sandy Dunn. Weston makes a bid to the outside. Again, riding her high is Debbie Cho. Chiefs also have a jammer moving up, Kathy Ramos. Weston drops back, trying to eliminate her. Comes in with a block, puts her down. Tucker back to lead the way for Joni Weston. Tucker reaching back, there's a whip, sidestep, and The Bay Bombers did score. Weston picked up 1 Bay Bomber point.
Don, the Bombers finally got the clock to come through on their side. I was going to think it was going to be the same thing again. The time had run out. But Joan Weston did get in there. It's a big point. It puts the Bombers back on top, 15-14. And if we could see Joni right now, I know she'd have a smile on her face.
Well, again, we're going to get a chance to take a look at this again. Why don't you call it?
Okay, here we are blocking at the rear. And Weston gets hit with a helmet there, and I don't think the officials could see it from the inside of the track. Now Weston has got to worry about the Chief Jammer coming up. Now she can make a move. Dolores Tucker wisely getting back there to give the assistance and right to the inside as the buzzer sounded. But Joni got credit for the point.
We're back live. The Bombers have taken the lead, 15-14 over the Chiefs. Back is formed, the whistle sounds, and the Jammers are out and moving. 35 is Judy McGuire, 37 Phoenix Meyer on the move. Rita Williams coming out for the Chiefs. Williams put down by Meyer. And the next Chief Jammer moves up. Pam Harrison, she's been dumped. Bombers now with the only Jammer again out moving on the plane. Number 35, Judy McGuire. All 5 of the Chiefs kept in. Dunn again, drops back on defense. Weston dropping back on the assist. Chiefs looking to get a Jammer out of that pack. Thus far unsuccessful. Now they break 2 of them out. The Chiefs trying to go to a pull-away. Rita Williams followed by Debbie Cho, Sandy Dunn, Mandy Johnson, and Pam Harrison. Weston trying to lead the way up. 1 Chief has been picked off. Meyer being whipped forward. Weston leading it up. Weston drives to the inside. A block, Johnson put down. Moves up to Sandy Dunn. McGuire scoring again. Still going. And Weston shoves it forward. Dunn comes back up. Time and the jam starts to run out. It's over. The official decision, there were 3 Bay Bomber points scored by Judy McGuire. The score now, the Bay Bombers 18, the Chiefs 14, 20 seconds remaining here in the 3rd period.
Okay, Don, here's where the Chiefs trying to pull away what they hope to force the Bombers to do, commit themselves to advancing the Jammer, leave the Jammer alone, coming up on the Chiefs, but Joan Weston led Meyer, did not advance her. Weston led the way, made the room for the points by McGuire. There she goes, Joni on the inside, sets up another point, McGuire through. Now here at the end, she gives a push, and the final point, McGuire does that on her own, but the Chiefs' strategy obviously backfiring that time, Don, and the Bombers took very good advantage of it.
There's a shot at a happy crowd. And that is the end of the 3rd skating period with the Bay Bombers leading the Chiefs 18-14. Don Drury and Ken Kunzelman back calling the action. We're in the 4th skating period of this game. From Kezar Pavilion, the Bay Bombers lead over the Chiefs 18-14. We're in the 1st half. Remind the fans, if you're watching the 1st half this week, you'll be watching the 2nd half next week. Jammers are out moving on the play. And there's a shot of the pack as it moves around. Skaters blocking in there, trying to set each of the opposing teammates up as the offensive Jammers move in. James Paul, 34, is moving for the Bay Bombers. For the Chiefs, it's 46, Alan Littles. Littles with a barrage of elbow blocks to the inside. Takes over the lead. Atkinson now back to lead the way. Mallory back to do defending for the Bay Bombers at the rear. Jump block to the outside. Littles going in, cuts that play off. There was 1 Chief point picked up by Alan Littles, the assist of Buddy Atkinson Jr. and Alfonso Reyes. The point picked up over Alvin Mallory. And the Bomber lead cut to 3, 18-15.
Don, the addition of Buddy Atkinson Jr. to this Chief lineup has made all the difference in the world of the team. When Atkinson came to the team, that's when the Chiefs started to make their move. And his assist on that play, I don't know of another man in this league that is big enough to throw a block like that that just automatically sets up a point.
18-15. Bay Bombers continue to lead. Back being reorganized. Pivot skaters must go to the front. Blockers must be in the middle. Jammers at the rear. Bill Grohl wearing the pivot helmet for the Bay Bombers. Chiefs with Buddy Atkinson up there. Blockers in the pack. Back is formed. The whistle sounds. Again, the offensive Jammers eligible to make their way up and out. Jammers trying to work their way up, having a tough time. Jammers up and out. 32, Mike Chubb moving for the Bay Bombers. Chiefs looking to get somebody out. It's number 42, Mike Phillips on the play for the Chiefs. Chubb comes up. There's quite a difference in size here. Chubb running in around 33, maybe 36 pounds, and Mike Phillips well over the 200 mark. A little tough to move a jammer out of the way when you're coming in to throw those blocks. You can see they don't even hardly phase Mike Phillips. Jammer's moving into scoring position at the rear. It'll be Alfonso Reyes on defense for the Chiefs. 33, Alvin Mallory back there for the Bay Bombers. Jammers trying to work their way up into scoring position. Hit back by the defending blockers now. Jump moving forward. Coming up out of the Chief turn. Reyes hits him back. An elbow block to the outside. Running him high up along that rail. Sends him into the rail. Now Reyes moving up on the assist. Reyes coming up with the blocks to Mallory. I believe there is a penalty call up there. The jam called off. The helmet's off. Mallory and Reyes, helmets coming off, and apparently Mallory didn't like being grabbed.
Don, I don't blame him one bit. Alfonso Reyes has really been the spark plug of this Chief team. They've got the big guys, Atkinson and Cattell, but Reyes is the one to go out there and fight first, and nobody else likes it unless they're wearing a Chief jersey.
Well, the officials ruling there was no score on the play. The score remains the Bay Bombers 18 and the Chiefs 15. Reyes did pick up a penalty for holding. He grabbed Mallory, of course, going into the Chief turn, just as that skater Phillips attempted to go through. Back being reorganized. Bombers continue to lead by 3. Jammers trying to work their way up and out. James Paul starts the jam. Paul reaching back, and Atkinson with a pivot helmet on goes out. Now Billy Grove moving out after Buddy Atkinson. Grove comes up, solid shoulder block to Atkinson. Atkinson rides it out. Out of the turn, down the straightaway. Leg block into Grove. Leg block again back to Grove. Forearm block into the head. Grove driven into the rail by Atkinson. Quite a difference in size. Bombers again at a disadvantage to not have a jammer on the move. Looking to get somebody out. O'Connell is at the rear and apparently will be getting ready to do the defensive work for the Bay Bombers. O'Connell yelling instructions up there. A double block being set up by O'Connell and by Mallory. Atkinson moves through, trying to dive his way to the middle of that double block. Hit back. Stopped by O'Connell. Cattell now dropping back on the assist. Jerry Cattell back to lead the way. A whip. Atkinson moves up. A lot of speed trying to close in. Coming out of the turn. And Grohl coming back. Oh! Atkinson taken out by Grohl. No score on the play. Tremendous setup of the Bombers. There's the man, 38, Bill Grohl, that came in with a key block. Atkinson still down. 6 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in the fourth skating period. The Bombers lead 18 to 15.
Don, that shows you the respect the Bombers have for Bud Atkinson Jr. Charlie O'Connell did not attempt to take him on one-on-one. He got somebody back there to make a double block to begin with. And then it took Bill Grohl. They put 3 men in against Atkinson.
The pack being reorganized, and O'Connell grabbing a hold of Grohl. Atkinson a little bit upset. There are 6 minutes now remaining here in the first half. And a timeout being called on the track with the Bombers leading 18 to 15. Don Drury, Ken Kunzelman back calling the action. 5 minutes, 29 seconds left to go here in the first half, and there's blocking going on. Jammers are out, moving on to play. Jammers trying to work their way on the rear of that pack. Atkinson pounding into Grohl. High elbow blocks. Grohl coming back now. And the blocking continues with the pivot skaters in the rear. Jammers moving up. A takedown. And Grohl and Atkinson squaring off. Officials quickly moving over there. Charlie O'Connell jumping in. We didn't see a ruling as to score.
Don, I believe the signal was no score, penalties both ways.
No score on the play. Penalties again. You're right, kid. For holding both Atkinson and Grohl. And tempers flying here in the first half between these two men.
Well, Don, Bill Grohl playing the role of policeman for the Bomber team, and he's the one that's going to have to press the issue with Atkinson before this game goes too much farther, and it's bound to boil over into things like that. Charlie O'Connell trying to get that pack back together right now as Grohl's on the infield.
18 to 15, the Bay Bombers remain on top by 3. Both teams shorthanded now. Skater in the penalty box. Atkinson for the Chiefs. Grohl for the Bay Bombers. And I'll tell you, it's going to be a rough series. They go back to San Jose this coming Saturday night, then into Oakland this coming Sunday night. And this is the team to watch, the first place team. The Chiefs and the Bombers. Jammers are out and moving. Dynamite right, Mike Gammon on the move for the Bay Bombers. Alan Littles, another speedster on the move for the Chiefs. 1-1, and these men are flying. Look at them pick up the pace. Gammon moving into scoring position. Reyes back to the jump block. Gammon underneath, but Littles has been hit back. Charlie O'Connell back to lead the way now. Reyes back there, comes up. Gammon hit, foot down. Again, O'Connell trying to lead the way in. Chief Jammer also moving up. And Gammon slows down, comes in with a block. Littles put down. Gammon also going down. He's back up and sprinting. Littles trying to stay with him, but Gammon is taken off with the lead in that jam. Jerry Gattell now back into the blocking as Gammon goes in. Littles trying to stay with him. Both of these jammers in contention. Out of that turn, a lot of speed moving up. Gammon sidesteps. Gattell takes out his own teammate. And Gammon scores. One more Bay Bomber point. There's the guy that scored it, Mike Gammon. The score now, the Bay Bombers 19, the Chiefs 15. Again, we're going to take a look at this again. Here it is, O'Connell trying to lead his way in.
Okay, Don, Mike Gammon is the Bombers' money man, and you go to him when you need your points. Gammon can pay off. He's got to get the distance over Alan Little, and Littles is no slow man. Gammon trying to get just a stride and a half. That's all you need. And then a little timing. And again, a jump block. Gammon wasn't there to get hit.
We're back live. 19-15. Bombers have moved up on top by 4 points. Here in the fourth skating period, 2 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the half. And we'll remind you, you're watching the first half this week. Next week, you'll be seeing the second half. Back reorganized. Whistle sounding. Offensive jammers trying to work their way out. Chiefs trying to get that first jammer out. However, it's the Bay Bombers again with that man on top. 34, James Paul. 42, Mike Phillips coming out for the Chiefs. Each team one jammer out, building on the play. Atkinson and Grohl will be defending at the rear. Offensive jammers making their way on the rear of the pack, and Phillips attempts to throw in a solid block to Paul. Paul sidestepping, getting out of the way. Paul will be facing Atkinson now. Moves in. Atkinson, high elbow block, stops Paul. Grohl, there is a backup, looking to assist. However, Atkinson, very agile, very powerful. Comes in, shoulder block, hits Grohl forward, keeps him out of the way. Paul moving up again, and Phillips also moves into the Chiefs. Paul trying to eliminate that jammer. Reyes coming up with a pivot helmet on, and Paul goes to the outside. A forearm block, back by Atkinson. Reyes in with a block, Paul put down. Atkinson trying to move Grohl out of the way, lifts him high. O'Connell back on the block. There's a bomber jump, hit into the rail. Another one. Mallory hit in. A full team effort. The jam called off. There were 3 Chief points scored by Alfonso Reyes.
Well, that's the man, like I said. He is the spark plug of this New York Chief team. They had to get back into the game. They had to score points. We're coming down to the end of the first half. Reyes is the man that delivered. It's 19-18. Suddenly the Bombers are only leading by 1 as we go under a minute.
And again, there was an awful lot of team help there. Atkinson setting up the first 2 points, and then the team lifting players high. 45 seconds remaining here in the first half. If they get the jam going, it will run the full 60 seconds. The last jam in each half, if started, runs the full 60 seconds, regardless of the time on the scoreboard. Jammers up and out. 47, Johnny Rice on the move for the Chiefs. Alan Little's also out. Chiefs have a double scoring threat. Bay Bombers with 1 skater. Ronnie Turman hit. Double block put down. Gammon breaking late, coming out in pursuit. Gammon out number 2-1 now. Double block being set up. Gammon squats low after trying to dive through. And Gammon not cutting it off, trying to pull away. Gammon trying to sprint away. Has not cut this jam off. Grohl going to work on Atkinson at the rear. Willie Grohl drive inside. Shoulder block Atkinson at the rail. Jam called off. There was 1 Bay Bomber point scored by Gammon. And that is the end of the first half of skating action. Bill Grohl on the assist. Mike Gammon scoring the point. The score at the end of the first half, the Bay Bombers 20, the Chiefs 18. We'll be back with an interview directly following these commercial words. Oh, I'm Don Drury here at Kezar Pavilion. I'm talking with the coach of the Chiefs, Bud Atkinson Jr. The score at the end of the first half, the Bay Bombers 20 and the Chiefs 18. Bud, you still got a very powerful and strong team out there, and I think the fans are expecting to see a little bit more action, especially between you and Billy Grohl. You've been going out hot and heavy throughout this entire series.
It's starting to tell on both of us a little bit, but like I said, I'm looking forward to banging heads with the guy. He's a fine competitor. I like the roughness. I like the good hard hitting. I get a little wound up, a little excited myself, just like Grohl does. But I think that's probably one of the things I appreciate about this game, is it is a good, hard, rough game. And guys like Grohl and O'Connell make it that more inspiring for me to get out there and bang heads. I feel I'm better than them, of course. Have to have that attitude.
Well, right now, being in first place, that's a little bit easier to say.
Got a little bit going for me, but also you have to remember it's a team effort here, Donald. I know I'm good. I know I've got a good team and put it all together, and we've got a fine thing that's rolling along well. My girls' field is perfect. I mean, really, we have a couple of little things that we've worked out in the last couple of weeks, and it seems like we've got our plays back together, and I can't complain. I really can't. It's been a tight game. It's been back and forth to score, and most of the series has been this way. So you continually have to be on your toes. It's not something where if you lax back just a little bit, you'll end up being in last place, and we just can't have that.
Well, you've come in very, very strong. You have not lost a game all season. The Bombers are going to have to move. The Red Devils are certainly going to have to take a move if they want to get back into it. Right now, the running is going with you and the Pioneers, the Chiefs and the Pioneers. And the Bombers haven't, again, as we point out, have not won a game against your team this season. And the fans, of course, out in San Jose are going to get an opportunity next Saturday night to see you in competition for the last time out in San Jose this season. Then, of course, you move to the Oakland Auditorium next Sunday, and it's going to be a rough one. I'm sure of that. The fans have been following this series very closely, but they always do, I think, with a first-place team.
Exactly right. But, Donald, like I said to you earlier, this is a long year, and we still got a lot of games ahead of us, and I plan on staying in first place. But as you know how these games run, it's zigzag, back and forth, up and down. And as hard as they're going to skate, we're going to skate a little harder and stay in this first place. But like I said, you never can tell what's going to happen. Score doesn't upset me too much. I know we're going to get back in the lead. So it's nuts, but we're here. Well, you have the biggest team in the league, I think it was commented on, about 20 in probably 20 years, and that's got to be in your favor and probably helping. People have a tendency to end up getting a little bit tired. Well, yeah, that's for sure. Like I said before, with the 5 big guys that we got on the team, it's about 1,200 pounds. Anywhere between 11 and 1,200 pounds we've got on that front 5. So, yeah, it tells at the end of the game. We get a little pooped out. But you also have to take into consideration that we're hitting these people with a lot more weight than they're used to being hit with. So it poops them out, too. They might be a little bit lighter and got those sprints in there more than we do. But you just have to remember, that banging, it gets to them just like it gets to us. Well, I think that's starting to show a little bit, especially in that Bomber field out there right now. And I don't want to take anything away from your team, but I'm certainly hoping that they can come back up with that. And Bud, I'd like to thank you for stopping and talking with us. I know you've got a second half to take and do, and I'll let you go back to the dressing room. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, from Kezar Pavilion, I'm Don Drury. Thank you for joining us.